Amanda here from Create Your Future. Guys, I got an exciting video on how to manifest anything fast, quickly, because manifestation is instant and it's really just about selecting the reality you want to see. So for those of you that are new here, my name is Amanda. I'm a neurolinguistic programming practitioner, a hypnotherapist, an EFT practitioner, and a life coach. So those are my credentials, and we're going to talk about how the subconscious mind works to help select your reality, and I'm going to give some examples, okay? So we're going to dive into some NLP on this video. I don't know who needs to hear this, but my course and affirmation tracks are on sale. My course is called How to Create the Relationship You Love, and it's going to help you create a mantra. It's everything I use to manifest my relationship, my marriage. Those of you that are OG viewers that have been here since the beginning, you know the struggles I had manifesting my relationship. And you know what? It was when I created a mantra that I really got the quick results, because it enabled me to stay on a mental diet a lot better, a lot easier. So link is in the description below. They're all on sale right now. And we also have hard copies of the manifestation journals. Oh, they're over here. I've got them over here. So I like them. I was using mine. I always use mine. I like writing. You know, there's something special when you're actually writing things out, that helps you to, be present in the moment. I'm not a big fan of, parroting your affirmations on a loop and then doing other things, because if your mind's wandering, whatever you're thinking about is what you're potentially creating, right? Not what you're sort of listening in your ears. Do you know what I mean? So active listening is definitely important if you are going to pre-record your own affirmations, right? And also, guys, you know what? We did talk about in a few videos ago how it's so important what you consume. So we have a Facebook group, Create Your Future with Amanda, Law of Attraction Hacks, and it's success stories only. Please come share your success stories, encourage others, read other people's success stories, because consuming success stories is actually creating it for yourself. Okay. So very, very important that, that you are consuming that sort of material. I remember I was watching like Hallmark movies when I was single and looking for a relationship, and I would use it as a catalog and be like, oh my goodness, I want that to happen. I want that to happen. I remember this one time I had this, I was already dating Andrew, and I had this vision in my mind, right? That we would be somewhere dressed up, and he would basically put his hand out and say, would you like to dance with me? And then we would slow dance and gaze in each other's eyes, right? Well, we were only dating at that point, so the gazing each other's eyes was kind of awkward, but the whole thing happened, and it was just surreal when it happened. Okay, so when you see other people have things that you want, use it as a catalog and say, look, if they can have it, I can have it too, right? Instead of comparing yourself or comparing, if somebody's manifested something and they're successful, well, it's in your reality and we're all one. So you actually created it for them. So if you did that for them, you can do it for yourself as well, right? And yeah, guys, we also have a free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. The course is absolutely amazing. I think I know I created it and it's going to help you find your blocks, and it's going to help you weed out your blocks, questioning, is a block. I'm not talking about questioning how do you do a mental diet? What is everyone as you pushed out? What's for dinner tonight? Why is the sky blue? I'm not talking about those questions. I'm talking about if you're manifesting an SP, questioning if they like you or not. Right? So that sort of thing is going to help you to be able to build your mental diet to see what you actually, what thoughts you're going to keep and what you're not going to keep. Because, when you're manifesting something, the first thing that you want to do is you want to come up with a goal, okay? A clear goal, okay? You need to be clear on what you want. If you're not clear on what you want and part of you wants this and part of you wants that, what we call that in NLP is a parts party. And you need to be all in on something to manifest it, okay? So it can't be part of me wants it, but part of me doesn't. Oh, I don't know. It's because of this circumstance. No, first of all, circumstances don't matter. They were created by you. Be clear on what you want, okay? Shoot for the moon. You'll at least land in the stars, okay? So, be clear on what you want, because once you're clear on what you want, that's how you know what thoughts you're going to need to focus on. You only want to focus on thoughts that are in line with that. And when you have a thought that's not in line with that end goal, you're going to have to change it. Okay. So a mental diet isn't just going, oh, I want to be married to Jerry. And then you think, oh, maybe Jerry's got baggage and he doesn't want to get married again. No, it's happening now. No, that's not correct. It's good to say that, but when you start to waver and you start to have doubts, you need to mitigate your doubts. You have to say, okay, well, so maybe Jerry's got baggage. He's not ready to be in a relationship again. You got to say, no, Jerry doesn't have any baggage and he's ready to be in a relationship again because I'm good enough. So for like every one negative thought, throw 3 on there, 3 positive. Okay. So you want to cancel out whatever thought that you had that's not in line with your end goal. Right? So the other really important thing to do is when you are manifesting something is understand how your subconscious mind works. Okay. So your subconscious mind sees in pictures. Okay. That's how it works. It sees in pictures. So when I say to you, don't think of a blue duck, what did you just think of? A blue duck. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is never use negatives like don't, won't. Okay. So I don't want to be single. You've just created a picture of being single. If you think, oh, well, I don't want him to be mad. Okay. You're creating the picture of them being mad. Right. So your subconscious mind doesn't hear the negatives. Okay. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. The second thing, okay, is everything in creation is already done. It's already done. It's already created. Okay. So when you think of something, when you give your subconscious mind a command, it doesn't care. It just says, yeah, whatever you want. Okay. So that's the first thing. It says whatever you want. So like, for instance, and it'll just highlight what you're wanting to focus on. So how many people have done this, that, you've basically lost your cell phone, but you're using your cell phone flashlight to look for your cell phone. You're holding your cell phone, but you think, in your mind, you lost your cell phone. I mean, years and years ago when I used to smoke, oh, terrible. I remember I'd be like, I couldn't find my lighter and it was sitting right there on the coffee table. And I looked in that spot 100 times, but your subconscious mind will block it out for you. It says your wish is my command. Okay. So that's what's going on right now. Right now, there's like pure potential. Everything is already created. Everything is already done. It's up to you to give your subconscious mind the commands to look at it. Okay. So you say to your subconscious mind, okay, you know what? I want to see Jerry committed, ready, and over his baggage and ready for a relationship. Okay. And then that's how Jerry's going to show up to you. Okay. So if you're going back and forth, your subconscious mind is going to start flipping your reality back and forth. I remember one time I had a conversation with a guy that I wanted a relationship with. And, as we were talking, right, I was thinking, oh, he doesn't want to be in a relationship. And he's like, I don't want to be in a relationship. Then I'm like, but he does. And he's like, but, I could be open to it. And I was going back and forth in my mind. He was going back and forth. Like, it was absolutely crazy. So, your thoughts have the potential to create in your reality. So what does create? Well, your dominant thoughts create, okay? And your assumptions and your beliefs, okay? So, and now why do some things seem to manifest instantly? Because you don't have any resistance to them, okay? You don't. Everything is already done. Everything is already manifesting instantly. Why does it take time? Well, because you have a story, it's going to take time. Right? Because you're not consistent with your thoughts, because you have some sort of resistance that you're throwing up in the way. Okay. So resistance can take a whole lot of forms. Okay. So resistance could be worrying. Resistance could be doubting that your thoughts even create. So that's like creating resistance right there. Because if you say, oh, I don't believe my thoughts create, well, then now your subconscious mind has to show you that your thoughts are not creating. Okay. And it's going to disconnect that for you. Okay. Because whatever you say is going to be true for you in your reality, and your subconscious mind is going to make it so. Right. So you do create the laws and, how your reality works, right? But the only thing that we can't change is that your thoughts create. Okay. Your thoughts create, but you can say things like, well, you know what? It's no point in worrying because, those things never come true anyway. Good. Have that belief, right? Create those beliefs. But at the same time, you do need to be on a mental diet. Now, I'm not talking about obsessively, crazily, doing all this, affirmations or whatever, right? It's simply listening to yourself, okay? Listening to yourself and getting on top of your thoughts. So for instance, okay, there was, so it was like, here's a manifestation. So it was like last year, 2 years ago, I renewed our cell phones, and like, it was crazy. It was like, I don't know, we had to pay like hundreds of dollars up front for the phone, plus pay for it monthly. And the rate plans were like really expensive. And I was like, oh man, this has gotten terrible. I'm like, you know what? I intend next time we renew, we got like a rate plan for like $50, and it's like includes all this roaming outside of Canada. And and I get like the phone basically with nothing up front. I'm like, I don't mind paying something for it monthly, right? Anyways, so anyways, 2 years passes, right? And so it's time. About like maybe a week ago, the contracts were up. So I started to think about it. Okay, we're going to take a look into what plans we're going to get. Well, I'm sitting on the couch, right? And I just remembered that it's always been difficult. And I was like, no, I intend that renewing my cell phone this year is easy. It's going to be easy. And I'm going to get a great deal, what I want, and I'm going to be happy. Okay. So then that was that. And then so I call up my current provider, and in Canada, if you Canadians will know, current provider, being loyal to a company doesn't really pay off these days. You always get a better deal for being the new guy at the company, right? So anyway, I ended up going down to our local Costco. I mean, just they always got good deals, right? And I was like, Costco's going to get me a great deal. Well, anyway, sure enough, my rate plan is $54, and it's like unlimited roaming in like 3 countries, plus like 50% off roaming internationally. And the phone was like dirt cheap, nothing up front. And I was like, oh my. So basically, it was cheaper for me to sign a new contract and get a new phone than it was to stay on the old plan with the old phones, right? I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, this is crazy. So, when you decide, if you're going to see things as hard, they're going to be hard. If you're going to see things as expensive, they're going to be expensive. If, next year, okay, I'm not paying anything for the phone. Okay, all I need to do is sign like a 1-year contract and the phone's free. Thank you very much, right? And the rate plan is going to have even more and be even cheaper next time I have to renew, right? But, you make those declarations for those things, and when you do that in every area of your life, right, you're going to find that you're just floating around and things are manifesting fast. Because when you're constantly manifesting in every area of your life and staying on top of your thoughts, you're going to see how everything is like related to your thoughts and how you're actually manifesting things. You can also say this with me now. I intend to see how my thoughts create. Okay. I intend to see how I've created everything in my reality with my thoughts. Okay. So once you do that, okay, you're going to start to see how your thoughts are actually creating. And that's going to like basically lessen that huge resistance of, does this work? Do my thoughts create? Because I can tell you right now, the best creators, the ones that are most successful at manifesting things quickly, don't doubt that they have this power. They don't doubt it. I don't doubt it for 1 second. I have 0 doubts that my thoughts create. I don't have that story. I don't have that fight going on in my head, okay? It's like, okay, can I manifest the impossible? Yes, because nothing's impossible. It's done, So that's, where you need to be. And I know a lot of you guys are going to have that resistance of even just believing if this is real, even if you're like when you're brand new at this, right? So you want to start building belief in yourself and this power by basically manifesting a little list of things and constantly manifesting throughout the day in all areas of your life. Okay. So like, for instance, I intend that, someone brings me vegetables. The other day, Mom gave me a bag of salad. I was like, that's great. There's my vegetables. Check. And she knows I had a fridge full of vegetables because she's seen in my fridge. It's not like I needed it, right? But that's the thing, is my subconscious mind is like, you want vegetables? Someone's going to bring you vegetables, right? So how you get really fast at manifesting anything is you stay on top of your thoughts and you ask yourself and you treat every single thought that you have like it is basically creating in your reality. Okay. Now, I don't say this to scare you. Okay. If you're going to sit there now and go type a message here under this video and comment, okay, now Amanda, I'm scared of my negative thoughts. Oh, well, no, this isn't information to make you scared. It's to empower you, because it's true. Every thought that you have has the potential to create in your reality. That's your magic wand. That's how you manifest. That's how you create. So select your thoughts carefully, right? Like even when you're listening to music and you're singing those lyrics, you're creating that. So pick your music wisely. You know, I like to pick music where I don't like country music. I don't want my pickup truck to break down or my dog to pass away or my girlfriend to leave me. Like, no, thank you. I'm not going to listen to that music, right? So, you know, select what you're consuming in your reality, you know, and what you're actually focusing on, you know. So I like personally, if you're looking to manifest somebody, start watching Hallmark movies and saying, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, and things like that. So to manifest anything fast, get clear on what you want and keep all of your thoughts in line with it, and even create a mantra. A mantra really helps to speed things up because it's like your preset little, you know, go-to. So like, for instance, right, when I was like going to move in with Andrew, I was like, and he had baggage. He said he didn't want to move in with me. I said, look, at Andrew's over his baggage and ready to move in with me because I'm good enough. I only did that for 5 days every time I thought of the situation. And then boom, it happened. Okay, so, you know, every time you think about the situation, you pull out your mantra, your little go-to little, you know, sentences, and you plop them in there, okay? And then you move on, okay? So, you know, if you're thinking, okay, well, you know, Jerry's got doubts, he doesn't want to marry me, and then you're like, nope, but it's happening now. That's not mitigating that thought, okay? So it is good to say it's happening now, but you need to mitigate that thought and change it, okay? So right in the moment, you say, okay, well, do I really want to create that? No, I want Jerry to be over his baggage and ready to marry me. Okay, great. I intend for him to go ask my dad's hand in my marriage to marry me. I intend that this is going to happen and happen now. Great. Okay, so you can add that on there, but you need to mitigate whatever thought that you had, because saying it's happening now isn't changing the fact that you said he had baggage, right? So keep that in mind. A lot of the times things don't manifest quickly because we're actually not doing a mental diet properly, right? You actually don't need to do any techniques other than a mental diet. I think that's the highly most important thing. I mean, it really, really is. You know, you can do, you know, visualization all you want, but if you get up and you're like, you know, having worries and doubts and panicking and feeling anxiety about the situation you're trying to manifest, you're not on a mental diet. And, you know, and feeling your feelings is a really good indication to know where your thoughts are at. If you think of your SP and calling them and you get anxiety, you have a story you need to change. Okay. What's the story? I don't know. I mean, your story could be different from anybody else's, right? But the whole fact is if you think about money and bills and you get anxiety and you're trying to manifest money, you have a story that you need to change. Okay. Because your thoughts shouldn't give you anxiety. Okay. Because if you were the person that had that $1 million, what would how would you feel? You wouldn't have anxiety. Okay. So a really good way to understand of how to be in the wish fulfilled, which will help speed up everything you manifest, is, let's say right now you won the lottery. Okay. You got $5 million coming, but you know what? It takes 90 days. You know, it's got to go through, you know, whatever, but it is yours. You just got to wait the 90 days. Okay. Would you right now, being the person without the money, but you know it's coming, would you be worried if a bill came in the mail? No, you wouldn't actually. Okay. So that's the state of the wish fulfilled that you want to be in. Okay, that's where you want to be. It's absence of worry. It's absence of anxiety. It's absence of panic. You know, you're basically floating throughout the world, you know, and when you're doing a mental diet and you're watching your thoughts in all areas and you're constantly doing that, little things like getting a good deal on your cell phone empowers you. And you're like, oh my goodness, you know what? If I can manifest that, I can manifest anything, right? So yeah, I intend that this video helps you guys. I really do. Yeah, I'm going to answer some of your guys' questions, most likely in the next video. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.